Welcome back to the Roundtable. I'm AwestruckVox, and as we inch closer and closer to the 1-hour season finale of Steven Universe, Change Your Mind, aka Battle of Heart and Mind, we're also likely getting closer to the return of Lapis and Peridot. Come on, you think they're being left out of this? If Bismuth is coming to Homeworld, she's bringing their gemstones. She made it her sacred duty to watch after them, and it would be kind of awkward if they reformed and they're just like, wait, where's everyone else? And this brings about an interesting question. Will their regenerations bring about new forms? Will Peridot and Lapis finally have stars on them? The answer to that is yes! But there's been a lot of confusion. I've seen a lot of people suggest that Peridot and Lapis won't have new forms because Peridot can't shapeshift, and both these characters have already been pooped before, but have regenerated with their same forms. There's a reason for this, and I want to clear the misconception of gem reformations, and how Peridot's lack of shapeshifting abilities do not correlate with the potential of a new form. But first, there's another lingering question I want to address. Why haven't Peridot and Lapis reformed yet? And what's taking Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl so long to reform? We know Amethyst can reform in minutes. Ruby and Sapphire regenerated by the time they were on the handship, which couldn't happen anything more than a few hours since Steven was knocked out. And while we're not really sure on Lapis, Peridot reformed immediately after being unbubbled. Steven and the Crystal Gems have to have been on Homeworld for at least a day or two in Earth's time. Yet Peridot and Lapis are still out? What's the deal? Well, a lot of fans have pointed fingers at Yellow Diamond. That when a gem is pooped by yellow as opposed to a gem stabilizer, or any other means like a really strong headbutt, it takes them a significantly longer time to reform. Solely due to Yellow Diamond's strength. A diamond's powers is no joke, and it'll leave the Crystal Gems out of commission that much longer. However, we're likely going to have to suspend our disbelief a bit, just because I can't see Garnet, Pearl, and Amethyst not reforming in this episode. It's a huge season finale, not to mention we saw Garnet's new form in drafts of the Diamond Days poster. But since Peridot and Lapis are likely going to reform around the same time, I can already see hundreds of people calling plot hole! They're all knocked out by Yellow Diamond, so why did it take Peridot and Lapis days while it took Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl potentially a few hours or a day after? It's one of those cases where it's a cartoon, it's just going to be the argument. Anyways, gem reformations. Why have the Crystal Gems reformed with new looks, but Homeworld Gems have appeared to be the same? Since Peridot is unable to shapeshift, does this mean she won't have a new form? Well, we have to remember one of the key differences between the Crystal Gems and the rest of Homeworld: conformity. Gems emerge with an assigned purpose, to serve the diamonds. They conform to Homeworld standards, and as we saw in Together Alone, there's an order to everything, even the way they dance. Considering the amount of repetition a gem goes through, their mental state never changes. Thus, no matter how many times they get poofed, how they look on the outside is always going to be the same, because their mental state, their ideals, their way of living has remained unaffected. This is different from the Crystal Gems. The Crystal Gems don't really conform to anything. They find their own purpose, and their mental state, their thoughts, their feelings, much like Earth, it's always changing. The Crystal Gems always have new looks when they reform, as it signifies a change in their mental state, their outlook. This is why Pearl's first form in the series, that we see in present day, leans more to her appearance during the war. She's still serving Rose Quartz. And as we've seen through episodes like 3 Gems and a Baby, none of the gems were pooped in the time that Steven was an infant all the way to him turning 12. But when Pearl reforms, she does alter a bit. She now has a ribbon near her waist. It's kind of a symbolization for Pearl's secrets. Now that Rose is gone and she has her son, who's very curious about the world and how everything works, she has to keep everything she knows that she can't speak about close to the chest. Now that all those secrets have been unraveled, I think the ribbon will be removed from when Pearl reforms. Or look at Amethyst. There's not much of a difference between her first form and her second form. I think the biggest detail is the arm strap. But look at her third form. After her encounter with Jasper, and really being faced with an identity crisis, being told that she was made wrong and that she's kind of an incomplete soldier, Amethyst has a drastic change in her appearance. Or how about Garnet? The first form we see of her, she's more of red than anything. But once Ruby and Sapphire fuse back into Garnet, now that Steven is aware that she's a fusion, her pigmentation is more purple, a mixture of red and blue, Ruby and Sapphire. She's more proud than ever to be a fusion. Or even Bismuth. Her look the first time we meet her appears to be the look she had during the Gem War, going off Garnet's storytelling and Your Mother in Mind, meaning her mental state didn't really change from her time during the Gem War to when Steven finds her in Lion's Mane, which makes sense. considering the timing of when Rose took her out of commission. But when she reforms in Maid of Honor, having a very serious shift in her mental state, she also has a new look, but one that still incorporates star imagery, so she still sees herself as a crystal gem. So let's apply all of this to Lapis and Peridot. When we first meet Lapis and she reforms out of the mirror, she had the same look that she so assumedly had on Homeworld. That's because she wasn't out of Homeworld's mentality yet. Same with Peridot when she's pooped and reforms. It was only once these two got more acquainted with Earth and finding a new home in each other did their mental states, their values, their ideals begin to greatly change. Peridot and Lapis are not the same people they were when they last reformed. A gem is not guaranteed a new look just because they're pooped. Not just because you're a crystal gem either. A new look from a reformation means that a gem has gone through a significant change mentally. Which again, Peridot and Lapis definitely have. Now let's talk about this whole shapeshifting ordeal. Peridot can't shapeshift, she can't manipulate her form. This doesn't have much to do with reformations, because that would imply all gems are shapeshifting when they reform. But we know gems can't shapeshift for a prolonged period of time, unless of course, you're a diamond. So I don't think the gems would choose new forms if it was straining on them. Shapeshifting in gem culture seems to be strictly about elongating or downsizing your body. But all the gems remain the same height when they reform, yet change their look. Yeah, you're adding new details to your body, but it appears as if all the alterations are just substitutions, thus adding no strain on their physical form, energy that would be required with shapeshifting. Besides, even if Peridot can't shapeshift, I do believe she can still form articles of clothing, as she had that yellow dress in Reunited, but it pooped alongside her, indicating that, much like Arnett's wedding dress, this was something she produced. No shapeshifting required. I think all the crystal gems have had a great shift in mental states ever since the reveal that Rose courts Pink Diamond. What that means for everyone. Although for Bismuth, it really just gave her clarity, but her great shifts in mental state already occurred in her subtitle episode. Regardless, don't count Peridot and Lapis out for having new forms. And I don't want to get expectations too high, but I just have a strong feeling we're going to see them on Monday. Recording Booth Pictures, don't let me down! Did you already piece together this is how gem reformations work, or are these interpretations something new to you? Let us know in the comments below, or tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids. And for my own hot takes, you can find me at AwestruckVox. We're also on Instagram. Special thanks to MikeCatSU for creating this amazing thumbnail art. You can find him and all of his amazing art on MikeCatSU on Twitter and Instagram, and VintageCatSU on Tumblr. Help the Roundtable grow by either becoming a member of this channel or supporting us on Patreon. Also pick up some merch. Link to everything in the description. If you enjoyed this video, throw it a like, and subscribe to the Roundtable for more cartoon goodness. Thank you for watching and have a great day. You know, I wish humans could reform with new looks. There's just like a mole on my back I really want to get rid of.